I know the link didn't go out properly because it wasn't set up. So we'll wait till people can hear me, and we'll wait to see if it pops up. It should go live on YouTube. Hopefully it's live. I added the YouTube. Should be live. We're live. We have no viewers. Don't know if it went out. That's the only problem. Might be talking to myself. The link wasn't really set up right. Oh, shit. Live. It says live. It says Rody. Why does it say record? Did it go on the YouTube? Okay. We are live. Here we go. Hit the like button, and we want to share this clip to the Sorry guys, we are a little off today on our game. If you're in here already, send now YouTube link. Okay, we should be good to go. I got the YouTube chat. 5 watching. Okay, here we go. We are live. We are kicking ass, taking names. All right, got a few people in here now. Okay, can you guys hear me good? Everyone loud and clear? I guess I can turn the volume up and see if I can hear myself, actually. Yep, there we go. I'm a little like tan looking. I don't really know why. It's more of a edit from the restream thing. There we go. Brighten it up a little bit. All right, guys. We are live today. 9 of you watching now. We got some people rolling in. Ask them, chat, if you got questions. Let's go. What's up, K9? All right, now we're here. I've spent most of the morning breaking down like incentives, kind of like who we're going to play, like stuff like that, like what people have. Yeah, the NBA slate, yeah. What people are playing for today, like what teams you want to target. I know you're going to get like value guys too. Like, you know, like if you run like an optimal lineup, you'll get like the value guys like Greg Dulich at tight end. You'll get like Chris Oladukin, like cheap QB maybe, and then you get some like Gibbs and Jalen Wright's playing today for like over other guys, and then you got like Michael Wilson and Puka. Some of the guys are still in, so they're going to project well. They're going for things. QBs are going for things, receivers like incentives and stuff, right? So we got to break that all down. You know, if you guys want, I can break down kind of what I'm doing here for lineups. I just ran this build a minute ago. We're still waiting on some critical news. I'll have that on my other screen here. So I have other stuff to break down, you know. But, you know, if we go by QBs, what we're getting based on exposure in our builds, we're getting a lot of Lawrence. So I'd say Drake May, Stafford, Lawrence are probably like the 3 top guys projected today. I'm getting a lot of him. Dart and Caleb Williams. Dart is playing. They're going to play well. So he's a decent price QB. So I don't mind that. Drake May is in here. They're going for the number 1 seed if the Broncos lose. Also, Bo Nix is playing for something, so the Broncos are going to be playing their guys. You know, Tyler Shaw, that game should be interesting. You know, also look at games that are interesting too, like the Falcons and Saints game. They're going to be going at it pretty good, I think. You know, if the Falcons win that game, it's going to be weird for the playoffs because Carolina gets in. If the Saints win that game, then the Bucks get in. So there's a lot at stake in that game. I like the Caleb Williams call. I think Luther Burden's a great option for him in Loveland. They're going to be throwing a lot. Detroit's defense is very depleted. I think they're going to be going for he's like 270 yards away from 4,000 pass yards, which is a big deal for them. And I actually bet Caleb Williams 4,000 pass yards this season. So I would hit that bet too. So like that'd be kind of cool to get that as well. You know, Matt Stafford, they said the Rams have been not playing very well. They want to play well. Their starters were announced. That spread went from 8.5 to 13.5. That means they're putting their starters out there. They figure they're going to score by that many points with the starters. So Puka's chasing some big record today. So I spent a lot of my morning kind of breaking down the games versus actually seeing what we're getting for lineups. I'm playing a lot of different contests. It's not much. I am playing heavier in like single entries today, like the $100, the 333 Wildcat and stuff like that. So my MME is a little lighter. I hand build a lot of this. Doesn't count my hand builds. So I hand build probably like $800 worth of shit. So Bijan Robinson is 255 scrimmage yards away from all like some big like all-time record. So like they said they're going to be using him a lot. So I'm glad I'm seeing him a lot in my lineups. ETN's in a game that matters. Genty's getting playing time, but I don't know if that matters. Gibbs, I'm a little worried about them. Their O-line's banged up. I mean, he's a good price, a little lower than he's been. Projects well. He actually projects a lot higher in other markets than SaberSim. Jaden Blue finally going to play. I mean, he was my big best ball guy that never played. Now he's going to play, huh? Interesting. RJ Harvey's in the game. He's been getting a lot of work. So I don't mind the running backs. Puga, we're going to get a lot of. He's playing for some. Lamb, they said they're going to play their starter, so Dak stack looks kind of nice against the Giants. Run back maybe like Darius Slayton here, Wandell. Burton's a good play. Jefferson's still pretty cheap. They're going to play those guys. So yeah, Jacoby Myers is still in that game. Michael Wilson's got a big incentives. He looks good today. I like that. So and then we got some value guys here. Like Philly's not going to play their guys. So Dotson and Cooper look good for value. Really haven't went through these builds a lot. Juwan Johnson, Greg Dulich. I'm just kind of giving an overview of the slate right now. Then we'll talk about more stuff, or if you have questions. I'm targeting Chicago. Yeah, I think my main Wildcat lineup might be the Chicago stack, actually. I like Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and Caleb Williams. I really like that. I also don't know if I want to run it back. I thought about Gibbs, but I really want to play Bijan. So I'm in a big debate there. And then I could play a receiver, I guess. I know I'm on St. Brown was getting a lot of projection. If he's out, that could open up a big amount for these two guys, right? They got to play these guys, right? I'm not getting a lot of him on St. Brown, but he's questionable. They play at 425, so that kind of sucks. Because that could really screw your whole lineup up, right? Like that news is not important. That really sucks. So we got to be watching the news is the big deal, right? Like if you got any other questions, throw them in the chat, guys. I answer all the questions. But I'd like Tesla at 3,700 if I'm on St. Brown's. I really like him. All right, Chase, we're getting some. I know the title of the thumbnail too is I'm on St. Brown. I threw that up there today too. I could have threw Chase up there. I almost put Jamar Chase up there. He's projecting a lot as well. They're going against a good defense, but everyone's resting guys, wanting to lose. It's kind of crazy. Tight end, we did Colston Loveland, Bellinger, Hunter Henry. Guys playing for the Saints. Patriots. They're playing to win too. So the cool thing is the Saints are not the Saints. I keep thinking the Saints. Patriots and the Broncos play at the 425 games, which sucks because they play at the same time. Like if the Broncos or one of them played earlier today, then they would have to know what they got to do. Like if the Broncos played at 1, then the Patriots knew at 425 that they don't even play their starters because the Broncos already won. They clinched the number 1 seed, right? So like if the Broncos are up by 30 or something and the Patriots look at the scoreboard and they're like, okay, fourth quarter, just pull their subs out or starters out and let other guys get reps, they might do that. So you got to be cautious on these games and kind of got to know these things, right? So that's what we're targeting, And then Green Bay's not really playing any starters, but even the coach said for Green Bay that you won't find out till the Sunday, right? I'm not getting a lot of them. I'm getting a little Golden and a little Wilson, but he says he's going to have to suit some guys up. So whatever that means, right? Like you can't just bench everyone. You only got so many guys in your roster. Carry 3 running backs. Well, you can't bench this guy Wilson or whatever. You gotta just play it whatever. But Vikings are going to come out with a strong total. They're a good defensive team. They're projected to be one of my highest defenses. I figured that. Justin Jefferson, a couple guys are coming in. They are going to play JJ. So, they got some guys out there. JJ's had some fantasy weeks, Packers are depleting a little on defense, so it's not a bad play. I want to go to defense, actually, see how bad it is. Yeah. Too much Vikings maybe, but they're a good price tag. Bills aren't really playing for anything, but the Jets are awful. Cheap defenses I like. I got a list over here. Cheap defenses. There are a lot of 2Kers this week. Wow. Jets, Colts are 2K. No Nico Collins for Houston, so the Colts don't seem that bad. It's at Houston. They're going to come out and want to win the game, though. Chargers are 2-1, but they're playing Denver that wants to win the game. Dolphins are 2-2 against the Patriots that want to win the game. Titans, Jacksonville, they want to win the game. Cardinals could be a decent defense, but, the Stafford's going to come out and play. They want to win the game. Yeah, we'll talk about Cowboys receivers in a minute. Cardinals did say they're going to come out firing because of the rivalry game, and, they want to win the game. But the Rams are coming out firing, too, because they need to win. They want to be the 5th seed because they want to play the 4th seed, which is Carolina or Tampa Bay Bucks. They move down a seed. They're like the 6th seed. They lose. Then they would have to play a much better team, right? They don't want to do that. They want to have an easier matchup their first game. And Coach Sean McVay said they haven't been playing very well, so they're going to want to be putting their players in, Puka and guys like that. They're already sitting at them, so they need other guys to step up, okay? So that's kind of what's going on there. Receivers, you want to talk about Cowboys receivers? I think I'm getting a lot of Lamb. So my builds right now, I'm getting a lot of Lamb. Pickens, I'm getting a decent amount of as well, around 10%. It's about 207 lineups. There's a lot of little dollar stuff, too, in there. So just kind of a smorgasbord of builds. But we can talk about receivers just in general. I do like them. I think the Cowboys stack is one I want to go with as well. Pickens and Lamb are both 7,200 and 7,300. Decent price, decent ownership. They're not high owned. It's a good stack to go with. I think Jerry Jones said they're going to come out and play. There was something I read about. I don't remember where it is. Let me see if I can find it quick. I read something about that game. Dak's going for something. They want a winning season. They don't want a losing season. So that'd be the first consecutive losing season since 2000 to 2002. So they don't want that to happen again. And then the Cowboys, let's see, there's something else about them. They want to win. I thought Dak had some big incentive, but I don't see that. Oh, Prescott leads the NFL with almost 4,500 passing yards. He's seeking to be the first Cowboy to lead the NFL passing in yardage. So I don't know who's chasing him that's still playing today, but if he's out in the front and throws a 300-yard game, he's probably going to get good. I can see them chucking it a lot today. And if you want to look at it, we can look back at it, but they're not playing now? See, that's the thing. In the next hour, there's probably going to be a mad amount of news you're going to want to stay up to date on. I'm seeing Jaden Blue play already. I do have Dak playing. I don't know what the news is for them, but it hasn't came out yet. It does say Jalen Waddle's not playing, Nico's not playing. Those are ones I know, and a lot of these other teams just like, oh, you'll see what happens. Well, that sucks for anybody betting, right? Vegas, us playing DFS, right? It sucks for all that, right? I currently got Dak, and I currently got a lot of CeeDee Lamb, and I got some Pickens. So that would be a big adjustment. There might be a lot of late swapping today. I'm going to late swap probably about 4 o'clock. I got something going from 3 to 3:45. I get back to my computer about 3:50, 3:55. I'm going to hit that late swap button quick, and I'm going to be running build. I don't know if there's any 405 games. I think they're all 425. Okay, so I got extra time. Works out great. All 425 games. Perfect. So I don't have a 405 to worry about. That's even better news for me. So I got a little time. We'll hit that 415. We'll hit that late swap button today on all these builds, So it's going to be fun. If any specific games you guys want to talk about, we can go game by game. The Colts aren't really playing for anything. Rivers isn't playing, so they got another guy. The Houston does want to win. Stroud is going to play, but every team could get a lead and bench their starters. Jaguars could get way up. I do like Trevor Lawrence quite a bit today. I like him a lot. He might be my Wildcat quarterback. I do like Caleb Williams a little bit more. I think Trevor Lawrence is playing to win the AFC, their division, I mean. So they want the seedings. May is playing, but they could blow out Miami. So any questions on a specific game? Vikings should roll this game. Packers are really not playing anybody. We got what? What's his name? Tunes quarterback in today? Man, that's a rough stack. What's his price? I mean, news is going to be coming in. Clayton Tune, 4K for Green Bay. Now, should we stack him up? Hell, build a stack with him. I mean, that's a pretty cheap price tag. He throws one to Golden. He throws one to the backup tight ends. You never know. We're not playing a lot of that game probably. Like I said, we only had Wilson and Golden earlier, but on the other side, we have a lot of Vikings defense. So we're not really – I guess we have a lot of Justin Jefferson. But we're not playing much of that game. This game, the Bengals could be a really big game. We're playing Chase a little bit. Chase Brown's still getting involved. Joe Burrow a little bit. T. Higgins a tiny bit. Bengals defense a little bit. I don't know why we're not playing Bengals defense. I know they suck, but, I mean, it's the Browns. Browns could play really well. So if we go game by game here, we're not getting a lot of these first few games, really. We're not getting any Texans probably besides defense is really good. Their defense is so good. Jaden Higgins had a big game last week. Woody Marks, we're getting him a fair amount, a little bit in there. The Colts, just Taylor. They did want to commit to the run this week, but, I mean, even 2 lineups out of 207 is not a lot. Titans, Tony Pollard's got some big incentives. I sent that out earlier. We're not getting a lot of them, though, at 1%. We might want to up that. He's got some big incentives today. I do like him. Jaguars, we're getting a lot of ETN. They have big incentives. A lot of Lawrence, Myers, Parker Washington. Barely any Brian Thomas. The guy's non-existent this year. What a turn of events for that guy. Saints, the team I keep talking about constantly. They're without Vele or Olave today. Tyler has been throwing for over 250 yards the last 3 weeks or something. They've been winning games a little bit, right? Taysom Hill might be his last game. We're not getting a lot of him. Juwan Johnson's been a high pick for us all season. He's getting a little love. Pettis at 3,100 might be a great value play at 9%. I might want to get on a little bit of that, guys. We're just kind of, if you're just joining in, we're going game by game right now. We did a quick overview of all the stuff if you started the show from the beginning. This game's kind of a big game for other teams like Carolina and Bucks. Whoever wins the game, either Carolina goes or the Bucks go, right? These teams have both said they're going to play full out. Atlanta's draft pick is actually with some other team, so they don't care about draft position. So, like, it's whatever. Bijan, to me, is one of the main guys for my lineup. I'm getting a lot of him in almost 50% of my lineups. Why? He's got some 255 scrimmage yards that he's going to try to get today. They did come out and say that they're really going to push the ball to Bijan. But, I mean, things change. They don't want to hurt their starter either. All of a sudden, he could play half the snaps, and everyone's like, what happened to that? Well, we talked to him, and he didn't care about the 255-yard scrimmage yards. He said that's probably a little far to obtain, but, I mean, he breaks a 90-yard run, a couple 50, 60 yards catching, he'll be close going into the third, fourth quarter, and maybe he goes for it, breaks another run. That's a lot of yards to get. It really is. So, I mean, maybe they don't care much about it, but Drake London also has got a decent leverage play option today. He looks good. I mean, I should probably bump him up a little bit. I think those guys will play today. Kirk Cousins was finding him when he first started. Then he got hurt a little bit, and then he's got to get back in the routine. I think he's good to go now, so I like that play. The Cowboys, which we just talked about kind of, so if you're just joining in, CeeDee Lamb and Pickens I like a lot. This Jaden Blue's a value running back. They said he's going to play today. Surprised I'm getting more like an optimal. I'm getting Jalen right at the same price at like 4,200 more for value wise on some other models I have. Jalen Wright's kind of the top guy. I'm surprised I'm not getting the Jaden Blue. Maybe that projection's a little off. So sometimes you got to look at the projection. SaberSim does have them higher than Sheets. Goalie even has them higher. I don't know where they're getting the higher ones from. I only have them at like 10 points on other models. Weird. Okay, but I like this Dak stack a lot today. We'll get to the lines in a minute. Yeah, that was another team. This game could be competitive, though. It's a divisional game, but at the same time, both teams want to come out and win the game. Jackson Dart's playing for future, so like, hey, I want to keep seeing what he's got. Can he hit Darius Slayton? Can he hit these other guys? Slayton's a good cheap receiver. He's getting a lot of exposure because I don't think Wandell's in today, actually, is why. I don't know all the guys that were announced out during the week. So I just kind of see what I'm getting now. And I kind of weigh it. There's no playbook today, guys. Sorry. It's just too hectic. I just hate this week. I really do. Because like Hodgins is projected for high. No Wandell. So you just don't even – we still don't know who the hell's playing, right? Teams still haven't announced guys that are out. Packers just say you'll find out. Like, they're going to suit up some starters and some won't. Well, that's the kind of crap. Dude, we can't have that crap. You know what I mean? So it's bad. Okay, Lions was one of the questions we just got. We got another one. Wandell. Yeah, I know Wandell is out. As I said earlier, I think he was out. That's why I'm getting a little Slayton. But yeah. So Lions was one of the questions we got in the chat, which I like the question because I'm on this game. I think I'm gonna like Caleb Williams, Luther Bird, and Loveland is one of my favorite stacks. It will be in one of two of my single entry builds for high buy-in. Now the question is, do I run it back with a Lion? Okay, we have St. Brown is currently questionable, but I'm getting not too much of him, but he's popping like optimal builds. I'm on St. Brown and Gibbs are popping a little bit more than Sabersim's got it, but I mean the industry's got him pretty low too, right? Like Sheets and Goldie, like so everyone's pretty much got him at third. Oh, I'm wrong guy. 19. Sorry, the industry's a little higher on him than Sabersim. That's what I mean. Like other models are higher on him than Sabersim is one. That's what I meant. I was like, well, I don't remember him being the same. JMO is the same. Tesla's is about the same. Now, if I'm on St. Brown gets ruled out, Tesla and JMO become pretty big because I think Campbell said they wanted to end the season on a high note, right? I studied coach speak all morning, basically, looking at different things. I haven't even built many lineups, really, besides the Sabersim. This is my first run, build one. And Tesla would become a great play, a great run back, I think, in that game. I think he still possibly ends up being my run back. Everyone's high on Gibbs coming out on a big end of the season. I'm getting 16% of him. I worry Sewell's out. Their O-line's in shambles. Like Bears defense has been really good. Bears are coming out firing. They want to win. Caleb needs 4,000 yards to keep this like a big record. I got also bet him 4,000 yards, right? So like this game, how much do they stay in the game? This is a great question. We also won't know about Amon St. Brown till later. If you want to build with him or Gibbs in your lineup, be careful. And then if you want to just throw Tesla in right now, I think Tesla should be higher than 4%. I might even bump that up. I think I'll just wait till I see what happens in the late, like 4 o'clock when the Lions rule who's in and who's out. If Amon's in, maybe I only get this much of him or not. We'll see. The Bears, we should be getting a lot of Luther Burden, 20%. I think he's a great play at 5,300. Loveland, 3,900 was a great play. Caleb Williams around 12%. I do like that. Definitely one of the higher quarterbacks that I own. I like that. Swift could get a little bit carry too. He's kind of a leverage play. Swift's actually a great play today if you want to leverage that because Lions have a bunch of the linebackers are out. There's like 12 guys still on the Lions injury report that we don't know status of. So it's not just Amon St. Brown. It's like, you know, other guys too. I didn't even realize that Dunze was questionable. I thought he was already ruled out. So that's interesting too, because he could pop a little bit if he gets ruled in. We already have an updated projection. Let's see if any new news has come in. Oh, John Harbaugh's future is up in the air with the Ravens. Interesting note, but I mean, they could win today and make the AFC playoffs, so that's pretty cool. Matt Ryan in talks to moving Falcons position. Nobody cares. Yeah, not much news yet. So I'm guessing the next 40 minutes, it's going to flood. And then at 4 o'clock, it's going to flood more. So late swapping's big today. Like upping your stuff's big today. Like refreshing your stuff is constantly big. Sorry, we haven't went through all the games yet. We have just started the 4 o'clock games. Okay. This is where all the games are at, by the way. This is a big stack for me. Let's move on to Dolphins. I could probably care less about them today. Dulich is a high. Actually, Dulich is in a great spot, 2,600. Jalen Wright's a value play running back. I said 4,200. There's no Jalen Waddle, so these receivers could mix those guys in. Someone's going to catch the ball. Some garbage receiver will score today. Patriots are playing for something. They got a high total. I'm getting a lot of Drake May, Hunter Henry stacks. Not terrible amount of it, but 10% is probably where we want to be. They could pull their starters if they get a big lead. Diggs has got some big incentives he's going for. Might want to up this a little bit later. Trayvon Henderson, they kind of had a split back this year, so like I can see not getting a lot of that game. Cardinals said they're full out. McBride, is an elite tight end. Want some of that. Michael Wilson's got big incentives. I like that play a lot today. And then we go to the Rams side. Puka's going to be it. But if they get a big lead too, we need Arizona to keep up. So I like the Michael Wilson play with like Puka, Stafford, Stacks. If you get there, I like that a lot. KC, they got a decent total just because the Raiders are terrible. But this Olin guy has been absolutely terrible at quarterback. I'm surprised I'm not getting any of them though. That's weird. He's only 4,500. Like I said, SaberSim's lower than other projections. I see him higher in other projections. I think just because he's kind of like the value quarterback. Yeah, I even got him like I see 18 other places. So yeah, like that's pretty wild. Like he's not. If this was higher, he'd be probably more projected. Raiders, they're not playing for much. Genty just keeps getting the love. Too cheap, I think. Elite upside running back. They just don't have much of a team. Mayer's a value. Tucker's a value. I think this could be a crap shootout game. You never know. Jets is another team in shambles. I don't really want any of it. Thank God they're not giving me any of it. Bills kind of in shambles too. James Cook, yeah, barely any of that game. That game is bad, right? Washington game is Debo and Commanders. They're missing a lot of guys. A lot of guys are out. Just a bad game. Eagles, Cooper, these are the value receivers we talked about, getting a lot of them. Just because they're 3,300, they're going up against a bad defense that's been in shambles. And then you got a lot, like Tank Bigsby's supposed to get a lot of love today. I'm surprised Barkley's not playing, but I don't think he didn't go for the big league rushing record last year in the final game, so they sat him, and they're sitting him this week too. So that makes sense. They didn't do it last year. They don't want to get him hurt for the playoffs. They got a good team to go into the playoffs. They can do some work. This next game, Chargers are sitting their players. Didn't get any Chargers. Low total. I don't blame it. But the Broncos are playing people. We're getting a lot of the defense, but Sutton, Harvey, and Bo Nix should be considered. They are trying to win the game. They win the game. They become the number 1 seed. I would say they should try to win the game. And they said they're going to win the game. They want to go in on a high note. Into the playoffs too, they said, so that is kind of a breakdown of my lineups, right? So where we're at with this build, obviously we got to refresh. Obviously it's going to change, right? So any other questions for you guys? We've done every team breakdown. We're waiting on a lot of news, really, is what we're waiting on. We're getting stupid news like Aaron Rodgers might come back next season. Matt Ryan might be a high-profile front office candidate. John Harbaugh might be fired from the Ravens. We're getting dumb news, right? Eagles, Lane Johnson, right tackle, expected to return in playoffs. Okay, so still kind of dumb news. We expect him to be out. Yeah. Patriots also did say they were going to play some guys that have been out for 4 or 5 games. Some guys, I think, on the O-line or the defensive line. So their defense could be a little bit better than we think today because they want to get guys like break the rust off, right, they said. So there could be that. My top defenses are pretty much the Vikings and Texans. And then the Broncos were pretty high there too. Obviously, the Vikings are a lot because Clayton Tune's quarterbacking for the Packers. We don't have any of the good Packer guys. But Emmanuel Wilson, don't sleep on him. He's a really good running back for the Packers. But the Vikings are kind of playing their guys today. Their defense has actually been pretty decent this year. So I can see why they're projected high. They're not too terribly priced. I did give out some cheap defenses earlier in the show. I kind of went like each position after I talked about this. And I think my favorite cheap defense I don't like the Saints. I like the Colts. No Nico for Houston. They might pull their starters. They get a little lead. There could be a pick 6 in that game. Stroud hasn't done very good without Nico, and they're 2K flat, right? I don't mind the Jets either at 2K flat. Buffalo game, nobody's really playing for much there. They pull their starters. Like, I don't know who's playing in that game even. Like, they're not going to play all their guys. I'm pretty sure. We haven't really announced like who's going to start and then get taken out. Like, currently for like Allen's starting right now, and then Trubinsky's like projected like 8 points, like behind him, right? So Allen's projected 10, he's projected like 7-8 points. So you're going to get like combo quarterbacks in these games. So that's why I said if we're targeting games, like I don't mind the Jets defense because we might get a Trubinsky, they're all pick 6, right? That's fine. At that price tag, it's awesome, right? So these cheaper defenses, I kind of want to add a little more exposure to. But then you also don't mind the Bills because the Jets are awful, right? You know, Raiders defense, Casey is Chris Olenduke, awful, 2,400. I kind of want to be spread out. Browns, even with the Bengals, they might take their guys out too, right? I kind of want this to get spread out a little bit more. This is too high for me. I can see why it's happening. So this is where you cap them at like 20%, right? And then you just let it figure it out from there. I kind of want to up the Jets, so I kind of like that one. I like the Colts. So if we want to do another overview on who we want to really target, the Houston does want to win, but they're sitting Nico's. They're putting Nico's out. So they're already like caution with the game, right? So that makes me a little worried about that stack, like CJ Stroud, Dalton Schultz, Jane Higgins. That would have been a great stack, last week, in the 2-gamer, right? This game worries me. The games I really want to target, Jacksonville, I like the Saints and Falcons game a lot. I think either team doesn't really care, but they're still playing all out. Bijan's got some stuff. Tyler Shuff's playing for his like future. I like this Dallas stack a lot in this game even. Darius Slayton run back fits great as well. I think that's a really good stack. The Chicago team I really like. I'm worried about the Lions, though, as we talked about it in the chat. We're a little worried about if they go all out. They did say they were going to go all out. So you could play Gibbs on St. Brown, but I like Isaac Tesla in there as well to get some more reps, right, for next season, a little showcase. Patriots worry me. They're going to pull their starters, but they're going to play. Rams, I think, are going to go all out and play to win if they want to be the 5th seed. So if Cardinals can keep up with them, that's going to be a scary high total game, a sneaky high total game, I think. This game's like a garbage dumpster fire. KC game, but there's a bunch of incentives. Like Kelsey's last game, so he could be actually a decent tight end play. I don't think I got any of it really. I got a little bit of it. It's right, 1%. It's kind of sneaky because they want to get him the ball, so they're going to throw him the ball if it's his last game. They're going to get him a touchdown, so he could score like 15, 20 points in that game, be the decent tight end. This game, super dumpster fire. We don't even know what the hell's going to happen. This game, another super dumpster fire, and the Broncos are the team we want to target. So my main stacks are going to be Jacksonville, Bears, probably Dallas, then Broncos, then Patriots. For if I rank them for single entry, I'm probably going to do a Jacksonville and a Bears stack for my 2 main lineups. That kind of feels the best. But a little worried about Jacksonville could just run the ball with ETN. That's why I'm getting a lot of ETN. And maybe Lawrence stack doesn't go off this week. It's really ETN. And I want like a Dak stack with ETN and then Darius Slayton, double stack Pickens and Lamb with Dak, running back with Darius Slayton, Bijan, and ETN as my running backs. That feels pretty good, right? That feels pretty good, right? Hit that like button if you like that stack, or just hit the like button in general, right? Right? You guys are asking about top defenses and stacks and stuff, right? But what do we like for our stacks? That's what we really like. So we just did that. Also, let's look at our stack exposure because I don't usually mess with this stuff too much. The only thing I hate is when they do this. 3 guys on one team and 1 back as a secondary stack. I usually X this out. I don't care. I don't mind 2-1 or 2 or 1-1. But 3 guys without, I don't like that one. So that's going to change a little bit. I usually don't hit the apply. I'm just going to actually rebuild my lineups because I got new news here. Sacks, we're getting QB +1 quite a bit today. Wow, lots. QB +2, so not a lot of run backs. Basically, we're favoring teams that just want to win the game. The other team doesn't care. They're playing a mix of guys, and we don't know who's going to go off on that team. We're playing the guys we want to stack up with the stack partner for the teams we want. Bears, Jags, Broncos, Rams, right? And then we do have a couple, and then the next two top ones, which we've done a decent amount with run backs. We're getting a little bit no QB stack. We're getting some +3, which I don't mind. 2-2, I'm okay with. 1-2, I'm fine with that. That's like barely any. And then I don't usually like this one, 0 and 1. I guess that's fine. Basically QB +1 on the other team. I guess we're getting none of the weird stuff. So we'll just leave it without messing with too many things. All right. Top owned guys are Genty, Bijan. Oh, Genty took the lead now that I did that update. Interesting. Pulled a different lineup in. Puka, Vikings D, Travis Etienne, Luther Burden. Luther Burden's one of my favorite plays today. Bijan's one of my favorite plays today. Etienne's starting to feel good. I don't like his price. I think he's too high. And then you got these Philly receivers that are cheap. I like Darius Slayton's a good value play as well. I like Michael Wilson's one of my favorite plays. He was up there a little bit. He's about 14%. So those are my top plays, guys. We're going to really have to watch the news. Let's go check the news if we get more news. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Mooney active for week 18. That is good information because I think Drake London's a sneaky play. I don't know if I was getting a lot of Kyle Pitts. Typically wasn't getting a lot of Kyle Pitts. I'm not getting a lot of Kyle Pitts. Pick of the week, tight end Bellinger if you spend all your money on Robinson and Nakua. I'm getting a lot of Bellinger. Now actually I like that. You brought up a good point. Bellinger's only 2,900, right? Projected pretty decent. Sabersim likes him, right? Getting him about 10% of my lambs. Now, I don't have to burn another. If I double stack Pickens and Lamb, I don't have to burn another receiver spot with Slayton and be 3 receivers toasted because I can put Bellinger in at tight end and keep that cheap tight end to be able to pay up for those running back like Bijan and Etienne. And I still use a cheap tight end spot, and I still got a receiver and a flex spot left. I do like that. And I can play my cheap 2K defense in that. Ooh, I like that a lot, actually. I knew I liked Bellinger today. I didn't realize he was that cheap. I thought his price came up a little bit more. I missed that price tag, actually, is what I like it that like Dulich I knew was 2,600, and he's popping a lot because of his price. Loveland's 3,900, which I really like Loveland a lot today. And then the rest of the guys are just kind of like hit or miss guys. Jake Ferguson is playing today, but I mean, it's another play you could like. You could go like Lamb or Pickens and then pick Ferguson, too, if you want. That's not bad, but I'm not getting a lot of Ferguson. I don't really like the play today. He'd probably score 3 touchdowns, but I mean, he was hurt a few weeks ago, right, or something, and they might rest him a little bit. Chubb is inactive for week 18. I'm very shocked about that. He had major incentives today. That's shocking. Wicks is out with concussion evaluation, inactive for week 18. So this is why the Packers might have to play more receivers than just benching them. So this is interesting, though, because their backup receivers are not on the roster. So that is a key thing. Like Matthew Golden's projecting at 3,800. But Reed, Dobbs, and Watson are projected like 1 or 2 points, right? They can't play these guys. They can't bench these guys because they don't really have anybody else, I think, on the roster. Now Wicks is out. He was another guy. Melton's out, I believe. He got hurt, right? So they have that Savante Williams guy, or Savon Williams. But I like him. I think he's pretty good. I can't say his name. But I don't know if they activated anybody else. So that's why Reed, Dobbs, and Watson might actually have to play. Interesting. Okay. So maybe that game isn't as good as we want it to be because we're in too many unknowns at this point. Okay. A little worried about that game. We're going to have to get an update from a projection source on that game because they're going to have to put some receivers got to play, right? I don't even know who the tight ends are going to be for that game. Obviously, Musgrave. He's probably not sitting. Yeah, he's projected for 7. Yeah. Dabney and Josh Wiley, which are the 2 other guys on the list. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so that game's kind of a crapshoot. And LaFleur's not telling us jack. So like we just don't even know. Really, we don't know. Okay, guys. Winding down here. I like the Bellinger call. I think I'm gonna do that Dak stack as my second lineup now. Because let's look at my builds. As of right now, I'm getting a lot of Lawrence. So I don't really need to stack my main lineup as Lawrence because I'm getting a lot in my MME. So this is my MME build, and my hand builds I do differently. Dart's now popping more. So that game I like, but I also like the Dallas side of it. I'm not getting the Dallas side of it as much anymore. Wow, that's way down now. I'll rebuild these lineups, but yeah, Dak's pretty low. So kind of like the Dak stack. Maybe there's news about Dak not playing now. I heard come out, so maybe that's a little nerve-wracking. We really need some hardcore news. Like I need some more news than Matt Ryan's going to be in the front office. Like, I mean, come on, guys. Let's give out who's going for what here. Let's get some news. Like, oh, Wicks is in the concussion protocol. That's good. That just made more unknowns. That just made more confusion of that game. And then Nick Chubb's inactive. Like, okay, that made that game more confusing. Why? Because who's going to get the work? Someone's going to run the ball against the Colts. Woody Marks. Chubb was projected for 2 points. Not much. Marks is projected for more. That Gerard Jordan I really like, but he bumps up probably a little bit more. He was already ahead of Chubb anyway. He's been playing pretty good. But now there's none of these other guys. I guess Wallow, right? So you just like, as the news comes in, you got to kind of filter out how it affects your builds, how it affects your lineups, how to flex the slate, right? So that's really what you want to do. You might be like, okay, I want none of the game, but then things change in the game, and you're like, well, what are we going to do? Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk's only 3,200, right? Someone's got to catch the ball. They're actually playing CJ Stroud. They're not just going to put him out there to throw to nobody, right? I mean, Nico's out, but like they still got other young guys that have been playing really well. Jalen Noel, Hutchinson, Christian Kirk. Like who's going to have the big game at 3K, right? We got to figure that out. You got to kind of analyze it like, oh, Nico's out, so who gets more reps when and where? That Higgins guy looks really good, right? Projected for 12 points. Kirk projected for 9. 2 other guys projected for 6. Like you hit on the right guy, you're going to be winning money today, okay? That's what we want to do. Jags are just as confusing because you got 3 good receivers, right? 3 good receivers for the Jags. And we don't even want to play Brian Thomas. We thought he was like a second-round fantasy pick all season. Dude, I'm getting 1% of this guy. I'm getting a ton of Jacoby Myers. Jacoby was eating there when he first came with Lawrence, and they made a hell of a connection, and they're running with it now. Jacoby's got a new deal. Brian Thomas looking like a shitty second-year rookie. Like, what the hell happened to that, But that's just what it is. We're going to probably rebuild the builds. I just usually just hit rebuild. I don't even create another build. I just rebuild over top of it, which I should do another build, but I don't. We just build a new build and see what we get. We got a little bit of news. We got an update at 10:20. That's better. We're going to get another update soon. Drake London, some of these other inactives we're going to have to keep watching. Are they going to try to get a few touchdowns with Kelsey? I think yes. I did talk about that. I don't know if you missed that Poker X Factor, but I believe so. I mentioned that earlier. He could still end up only with like 15, 20 points, touchdown, 4 or 5 catches, 45, 60 yards, somewhere in there. Then he could get pulled, But I think they're going to force feed him the ball, and especially if they get down in the red zone, I think they're going to give him a touchdown, or they're going to at least throw it to him. You even seen that last night with the Seahawks. Darnold needs 3 touchdowns for some bonus incentives, big like $1 million or $750K or something. They're on the 1-yard line. They have Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. They're rolling out play action to let him throw the ball on the 1-yard line. He gets sacked for like 10 yards. Like, you have 2 running backs that you split work the whole game, all game, every game, that are like chunking away yards at this team. They're just killing it at like 10-yard runs, averaging like 5 yards a carry. And you're on the 1-yard line and you roll out with Sam Darnold, a QB that sucks with his feet hardly. Well, he was running last night, but like the dude's like not that mobile. I mean, he's getting older. I'd say he was more mobile early on, and he's still a little mobile. He's better than some quarterbacks, right? But they try to force feed him the ball. So that's why I look at these incentives. They matter. Kelsey's last game, potentially, they're going to put the ball in his hands. They're going to throw him the ball. So I like that. I like that call. I usually don't make too many adjustments to SaberSim for like exposures as much. I don't like to get, I like to let it build. And then I go and build my hand builds, and then I'll be like, okay, here we go, hand builds. But I've been on live for like 45 minutes now. Not enough news has come in. I'm a little worried it's going to be pretty crammed after midday here, noon. So I do want to get a couple of hand builds started with kind of things we've been discussing in the show today. So I'm going to go build those hand builds. I got a few hand builds to build. Then I might look at adding some contests or building some Millie Maker lineups if there's Millie Maker space. I never looked at FanDuel today. I do apologize. I did not plan on playing FanDuel. There's probably a nice contest over there that's available that I could jump in, but I probably don't want to. I do have a reward. $9 NFL bonus. How nice. Thank you. Thank you, FanDuel. Your bonuses are so great. Yeah, the contests for today are kind of terrible. Ooh, they do have a 222 for 200K to first. I do like that. Maybe I will play FanDuel. What the hell? What the heck? All right. Any other questions today, guys? If you're just joining me, watch the video. We talked every game. We talked every game like twice, actually. Then we talked about my builds that are in front of you here. I just ran another build. I'm still getting Bijan Nakua. Genti's now third on the list. He dropped about 20%, actually. It was about 17%. He was about 48% of my builds. So this new build, I'm still getting a lot of Vikings defense, but not as much as I was. I didn't make any adjustments yet. I've let it kind of sort itself out, basically. Getting a lot of Slayton Dulich, still getting a lot of the ETN. I'm getting actually more ETN now. Darius Cooper, a lot of these receivers for Jacksonville Flex. CeeDee Lamb, I'm still getting 21%. I don't mind that. There's some news that they might not play their guys, but I haven't seen that on my sources. So we'll have to check into that. I do like that George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb stack. Run back with Darius, or not Slayton, but Bellinger or Slayton you could do, which was my original idea. Also, there's that stack, and then there's the running backs for the Giants that could be possible too. The Cowboys have not been good at defense this year, so yeah. But they added some pieces late in the season. I don't know if those guys are playing, like Williams and them. They could be really good at stopping the run. Lawrence, I like. Quick recap. Bijan's my favorite player today. I'm glad I'm getting a lot of him without manually upping him. Puka Nakua is also in a big game. He's going for like a 150-yard game. I think if you can play Puka and Bijan, you might want to. I think there's huge incentives for those guys if they chase them. Now, like you can see, like last year, Barkley and them didn't chase the big incentives. So some of that doesn't matter to these guys. But Bijan, he's playing for a big contract. He's going to get a big contract. So, and he wants the rushing record and scrimmage yard record. So there's huge incentives for these guys. So just keep that in mind. Let's get them. All right, guys. 15 people jump back in here. Interesting that I've done a longer show. I kind of did a bunch that we were dipping down and then we're dipping back up again. But I did a great slate breakdown. I showed my projections today, guys. I hope everyone can see everything. This is kind of my main exposures right now. You get to see all of them. I just did this build. Obviously, there's another update. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be about 4 more updates, okay? At least in the next hour before lock. I'm going to build a couple hand builds. Looks like I'm going to add a nice entry for FanDuel, high dollar buy-in. I'm going to put in there now that I got a little more time. I'm sorry for no playbook today, guys. I did a really good breakdown here. We still don't even know who the hell's in the game, so it's hard to do a playbook when you don't even know who's in the game. But I gave all my good targets for this game. And as always, guys, let's get it. And I'm not done yet because I love doing live shows. I should do more of them. Let's get it. See you guys. Good luck. And let's get it again.